I have some new insider information to share with you about the return of NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore. As many of you know, they've been up at the ISS since June of last year. Their 8-day stay has turned into a months-long ordeal. But according to Eric Berger with Ars Technica, they could be coming home a little bit sooner, and NASA is making a change behind the scenes with Dragon. Eric has some really great inside sources, so we should soon hear the announcement for this new plan for the return of Butch and Suni. Now, apparently they'll be coming back to Earth as early as March 19th. And that would put them home about 2 weeks earlier than the public timeline that was announced for late March, early April. But NASA has had to make some changes with the Dragon spacecraft behind the scenes. This will also delay the privately operated Axiom 4 mission to the ISS later in the spring. So let me just back it up a little bit. Last September, the Crew 9 mission launched with Nick and Alexander as astronauts and 2 empty seats for Butch and Suni, along with spacesuits for Butch and Suni to use in the SpaceX Crew Dragon. Therefore, Butch and Suni's ride home has been docked to the station since last fall. So now the Crew 9 mission is made up of Butch and Suni, Nick Hague, and Alexander Gorbanov, and they were scheduled to fly home in February. That was pushed to March recently, but now we know why that delay even happened in the first place. Apparently, SpaceX's newest Dragon vehicle and the final vehicle in the Dragon fleet is having a technical issue. So they've been building and testing C-213, the newest and last Dragon, and the first flight was supposed to be Crew 10, the next NASA mission to the station. The 4 astronauts going up on Crew 10 were supposed to relieve Crew 9, allowing Butch and Suni to go home. But in December, NASA publicly announced a delay of Crew 10 to no earlier than late March, and this would bring Crew 9 home in early April. But apparently, SpaceX and NASA are still having trouble in trying to resolve the C-213 Dragon issue. And get this, it may be related to batteries on the spacecraft. NASA now believes the vehicle won't be ready for the debut launch until late April. So therefore, according to these insider sources that Eric has, NASA has decided to swap vehicles for Crew 10. NASA is now asking SpaceX to bring forward the C-210 vehicle, which returned to Earth last March after completing the Crew 7 mission. It's named Endurance, and it was due to fly the private Axiom 4 mission to the space station later this spring. But now SpaceX is working toward a no earlier than March 12th launch date for Crew 10 on Endurance. Now, according to Eric's article, if this flight occurs on time, and the date is not certain yet as it depends on other missions on SpaceX's Falcon 9 manifest, the Crew 9 astronauts, including Butch and Suni, could fly home on March 19th. And that would make their stay in space 286 days. Believe it or not, that is not a record for NASA human spaceflight, but much longer than their original intended stay. And people have debated how serious the situation is for Butch and Suni. Some people are very worried about their health or the supplies up there. Other people say that they're totally fine. But this was really interesting to me in Eric's article. He said, at this point, if NASA waited for C-213, that new Dragon that unfortunately is still having problems, if they had waited for that to be ready to launch the Crew 10 mission, the space station program would start to approach red lines on food, water, and other supplies for crew members on board the station. NASA is also dealing with competing priorities in terms of cargo and crew missions to the station. So they really need this crew rotation to happen sooner than later, and it looks like we could see that happen in March. So I just think that that was a really important update to make to this continuing story and the Starliner saga that I've been covering for quite some time now. I put out a video last week about Elon Musk's tweet about this and how he was blaming the Biden administration. And so I just think it's important to know exactly what's going on behind the scenes with the Dragon spacecraft, and just the fact that, you know, there's only a certain amount of ports for docking at the ISS, and there really aren't that many Dragons, and there's already a lot of plans in place for the Dragons that exist. And so, yes, that is good news for Butch and Suni, But this also has ripple effects for other missions, including the Fram2 mission, which is self-funded by a crypto billionaire. And now they are going to have a different scenario for their mission, which I'm not sure, it hasn't been talked about that much, but it is very interesting. So Chun, the crypto billionaire who is self-funding Fram2, posted, "Wish Sunny and Butch a very safe journey back to Earth. Meanwhile, we've lost the South Pole in the daylight." So Fram2 is a very interesting mission, not just because it's another self-funded private mission, much like Polaris Dawn. And it's a very unique flight because Chun Wang and his all-civilian crew will be propelled into a polar orbit, which is a first for a human spaceflight mission. And their mission will be 3 to 5 days, and they will be doing scientific research, but this sounds like a big bummer for them that they have lost the South Pole in the daylight. Someone asked, "Which dragon are you getting?" And Chun said Resilience, so they will be flying on the Crew Dragon spacecraft Resilience, that's C-207. And apparently Resilience has already been refurbished with the Fram2 logo on its side. The EVA equipment has also been replaced by a cupola. So remember, Resilience was used for the Polaris Dawn mission, so man, they are moving fast behind the scenes. So I'm really excited for the Fram2 mission, as well as Butch and Sunny's much delayed and overdue return back to Earth. I really wonder how they feel about it, and I hope I get a chance to talk to them once they're back on the ground. But I wanted to add this update to the story because I know that so many of you like to get your space news from my channel, Ellie in Space. So thanks so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. The SpaceX community is incredible, and there are a lot of talented people on X, not only covering SpaceX, but how about painting SpaceX? So I just picked this up from my UPS box. This is from Olivia T-Live, and I have not seen it yet. So I used my scissors to open the box, and I'm really excited to see. She does amazing artwork on X, and I reached out to her about it. So ooh, looks like we have ourselves a, can you tell by the shape, a heat tile. And let's see what it looks like. Okay, so obviously it's in the shape of a heat tile. It's not an actual heat tile, but let's see what is painted on it. This is so exciting. Wow, that is so cool. Oh my gosh. This is so beautiful. Wow, and this is obviously one of a kind because it is painted artwork. So I actually had someone pick up my box at the UPS store mistakenly, and luckily they brought it back. I had to stress how important it was considering this is art and it is one of a kind. So this is extremely impressive. This is of course the booster sitting in the Mechazilla chopsticks, and just looks beautiful. I am so impressed, and I'm so happy to have this now in my office. This is truly such a unique piece of art, and also I just love the fact that it's shaped like a heat tile. So thank you to Olivia, or T-Live on X, and I will link her profile in the account, so hopefully you can support her artwork because she does incredible work. I recently got Gorilla Glue mounting putty, and it has worked better than anything else to keep things on the wall. I'm gonna put it right next to my plaque. Voila! Love it.